average frat guy, he really doesn't need to be there anymore. And frankly, Joe needs Shane on his stage more than Shane needs Austin. Or Rogan, for that matter. And now that Rogan, Hinchcliffe, and that whole crowd is being called out, it could be time for Shane Gillis to happily part ways with the Rogan sphere. Not in a way that would make anyone mad, but in like an understanding, sort of wholesome way. Like how Theo Von left the podcast he did with Brendan Schaub, The King and the Sting, or how Joe Rogan slowly stopped...
That's just a weird comparison there, because Theo Von and Brendan Schaub did a show for years and years, and Shane Gillis not really affiliated with Joe Rogan at all. What are you talking about, dude? Like that's just like some sort of, yeah, let me put in some more words in my script so I could be a little bit longer.
Inviting Brendan Schaub back onto JRE. Like, obviously they both wanted nothing to do with him after he bullied Bobby Lee, but to this day, Brendan still thinks of them as...
Okay, what does that have to do with Shane Gillis, bro? Why are you talking about Brendan Schaub?
Close friends. So I could see that sort of thing going down between Shane Gillis and Papa Toe. So
This is not, how can you correlate these two these relationships between Shane Gillis and Brendan Schaub with Joe Rogan? Brendan Schaub, he has the most guest appearances on the JRE apparently, more than Shane Gillis. But there's also a way different dynamic between both of them.
In this next clip here, Shane, Matt, and their guest, James McCann, started speaking about Mark Maron calling out Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe in his latest special. And if there's anything that points to Shane not needing Joe Rogan or the Rogan sphere anymore, it's this clip right here. Because unlike Tony Hinchcliffe or Brendan Schaub, who got completely heated and went into full-blown cope and denial mode about Mark Maron calling them out, Shane just kind of makes light of the entire situation, and he even goes as far as to say that he respects what Mark Maron did. Since, in Shane's eyes, Mark's gotten to a point in his 40-year comedy career where he simply doesn't care anymore and calls a hack when he sees one. Which Shane mentions that he could see himself doing when he gets...
The comparison between Shane and Mark is that they don't have a sort of like a good established connection compared to Tony Hinchcliffe and Brendan Schaub. That's the difference. Like, Brendan Schaub and Tony Hinchcliffe are way more connected to Joe Rogan than Shane is. Of course, that's why. That's the difference. It's more easier for Shane to get away from that because there isn't that closeness between them. That's why he can like sort of, brush that off.
At that point in his career.
It'll blow over. It's a bunch of bullshit, man. Motherfucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing.
It is. It's deeply a bunch of bickering. I don't like it.
We're better together.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Stop Austin hate. That's what I say.
Stop Austin hate.
Don't make
LA
him
comics
become
keep
Austin
beating us
strong.
up in the street, throwing us in front of trains and shit. Stop Austin hate.
Yeah, true. Who do you think's fucking? You think it's a New York comic who's been murdering everyone by Lady Bird Lake?
Certain, without a doubt.
Seems fucking immature.
Mark Maron is stalking.
I love their keep bringing back, like, yeah, there's still serial killers in Texas, like they're still active. Like, this is a problem. This gotta be Matt McCusker's problem to Texas right now, is that, hey, yeah, there's people actively killing other people, like serial wise, like, numbers wise. One of the biggest things about Austin or Texas in general is that it's pretty big, everything's bigger in Texas, as they say, and that also includes the murders and the serial killers there. So, it's a problem.
Streets at night.
Killing hacks.
True.
Slaying all the hacks.
So he might be on Assassin's Creed. Just sits in the back of an open mic and goes,
I do respect
how
it.
uninspiring.
Yeah. I do respect being old and just being like, fucking hacks. Everyone
nice.
sucks. They're all fucking hacks. That could be the life cycle I'm in.
So not only does he not defend Mr. Rogan when the topic arises here, he actually respects what Mark Maron's done this summer, in a kind of twisted sort of way. And I feel that he thinks that this whole beef is just embarrassing. Another interesting point...
Well, what is there to defend, though?
...in this podcast was actually brought up by the guest, who told Shane and Matt that channels like Too Lazy to Try and Comedy Enforcement don't really rope Shane into being an Austin comedian, which is completely true. I mean, Shane does have a group of people out there that really don't like him, but that's never really touched on by the channel.
Who doesn't? No, it's not true at all. maybe right in the beginning, maybe right in the beginning of like, oh yeah, like the first time he ever got supposedly canceled, right? And then eventually you see, or they do the research, right? And then it's like, oh, well, it's not that bad. Like, it's just like sort of it got overblown, and people didn't really see the context of it, right?
In this category, which Shane says it's because we all know that he's from Philadelphia, but really, I think it's because he doesn't approach comedy with this sort of snobby, elitist attitude that guys like Tom Segura, Joe Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, and Andrew Schultz all have. And he's also not one to really kiss the floor that Joe Rogan walks on. Like some of these other guys are so scared to call out Joe Rogan on any of the crimes against comedy that he's committed over the years. Like, for example,
those guys were twinning right now. You see that shit? They were like chewing gum at the same time, wearing the same jackets. You see that shit? Look at that.
Really kiss the floor that Joe Rogan walks on. Like some of these other guys are so scared to call out Joe Rogan on any of the crimes against comedy that he's committed over the years. Like, for example, when Joe Rogan put his own photo between Robin Williams and George Carlin's at his Austin Comedy Club. That's gotta be a comedy war crime.
No. Look, here's the thing. If you're an artist, you gotta put yourself in there. You gotta be an alpha, and you gotta place yourself in that, right? Because if nobody else does it for you, you gotta do it for you. And like, I get that motivation, right? Like, I just, hey, shit, you know, you gotta be, you gotta have some balls sometimes to like actually get noticed around here.
And nobody really said anything about it to Rogan. The only reason he took it down was because the Elephant Graveyard made a video about it calling him out.
Open micer, I was sitting around going,
You've been there forever.
everyone's a fucking hack piece of shit. They suck.
What have you become?
What?
This is what you've done since day one.
Who have I called a hack?
I've seen you up the back of comedy rooms.
Okay, in private.
Yeah, no.
In private.
Only in private. You're very good in public, but...
No, don't worry, dude. We're under the spotlight, though. The podcast wars.
Butt
better not say
wipes,
anything
please.
bad.
Butt
No,
wipes,
they
please.
always- I've
Butt
seen
wipes.
some of these
Butt wipes,
videos.
Butt wipes. You're not
They always...
affiliated.
Butt wipes, forgive us.
They
dude.
carve
Never
you
give
out.
him butt wipes. Never give him
They
butt
always
wipes.
they go in the Austin comedy scene, exception.
Is the butt wipes the reference to like Steve-O's, like when Joe Rogan like exposed them, or?
And Gillis, and then they move on. They
That's
carve
because I
you
know
out
I'm
at the
fucking
moment.
Philly till I die, dude.